Yes guys, as I'm sure you know, today Woj dropped a nuke on us with this tweet. Agent Rich Paul has notified the New Orleans Pelicans that All-NBA forward Anthony Davis has no intention of signing a contract extension if and when presented, and that he has requested a trade, Paul told ESPN on Monday. Now, what you guys might not know is that Rich Paul is an NBA super agent. He is the founder of Clutch Sports, and he represents a lot of big names in the NBA. Names such as Eric Bledsoe, John Wall, Tristan Thompson, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. And while you guys might think that's a coincidence, you might think I'm making a bigger deal than this is, you need to also keep in mind that while Rich Paul represents LeBron, he is also one of LeBron's best friends, according to sources. So yes, it looks like the Los Angeles Lakers are the absolute frontrunner to get Anthony Davis right now, but with everything I just said, I've also seen tons of speculation and thoughts on several other teams and their chances to get Anthony Davis, and today I'm here to weigh in on all that speculation. I'm talking about teams like the Celtics, the Knicks, the Warriors. That would be really, really rough. Anyway, enough dark thoughts. Let's get into the video. The Sixers are realistically out of this because their only two real trade assets are Markelle Fultz and Ben Simmons. Obviously, Markelle Fultz is a complete unknown at this point, so there's no chance the Pelicans would take a risk on him. And as for Ben Simmons, he's proven to be an all-star level point guard already this season and has real first-team All-NBA, if not MVP potential, so it is extremely doubtful that Philadelphia would be willing to give up Ben, especially when you consider that Philly already has Embiid, who, as we know, is a big man. And if they were to trade Ben Simmons for AD, yes, they would have the best front court in the NBA, but they also would lose the only promising point guard on their roster. To me, this means the Sixers are out. We don't really need to talk anymore about them. Let's just move on to the next tier of teams people are talking about, the teams that might have the trade assets, but those trade assets are not young players with potential. They're established players that would help the Pelicans win games. As I mentioned before, if New Orleans gives up Anthony Davis, that means they are going into complete rebuild mode. That, of course, also means that they're not going to be trying to win games this season. If anything, they want to lose to get a better draft pick. So with that said, looking at these specific teams, these teams are the Portland Trail Blazers, Los Angeles Clippers, and Golden State Warriors. Again, in order to even somewhat match the value that Anthony Davis brings, a team like Portland would have to give up CJ McCollum. Los Angeles would give up someone like Tobias Harris, and Golden State, well, they would have to give up someone like Draymond, but I don't even want to think about that. If Anthony Davis goes to Golden State, I don't know what's happening. The NBA would just be a complete mess. Now, with those four teams out of the way, let's talk about the two teams that do have a realistic chance as long as New Orleans waits until the offseason to trade AD. Those teams are the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. Looking at the Celtics, it's actually unfortunate that they're not able to trade for Anthony Davis right now, because if they were, I think there would be a higher chance in general that AD was traded, and it would definitely be interesting to see him in Boston. However, even though Boston has a roster full of trade assets and also has a ton of future draft picks to give up, the problem with the Celtics comes with the Derrick Rose rule. This rule, of course, refers to the youngest MVP in NBA history, and it is a rule that the NBA added after Derrick Rose won the MVP, and it basically states, well, actually, there's nothing really basic about this. I'll try to make this as simple as possible. What the Derrick Rose rule states is if a player is either 1, name the MVP in one of their first 4 seasons, 2, is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year winner between their 2nd and 4th seasons, or just wins the Defensive Player of the Year award in their 4th season, or 3, is selected twice to any All-NBA team between their 2nd and 4th seasons, or again is just named to any All-NBA team in their 4th season exactly, that player is basically able to be given a Supermax contract. And with that Supermax contract, a player is eligible to be given 30% of their team's salary cap compared to the normal max at that time, which is 25%. Why does any of this matter, you might ask? Well, NBA rules also state that a team cannot have 2 players under the Derrick Rose rules on the same roster. Unfortunately for Boston, Kyrie Irving is currently under the Derrick Rose rules. That means that if Boston does want to trade for Anthony Davis, they need Kyrie to opt out of his player option in the summer, summer, and then from there, they can re-sign Kyrie and also trade for AD. As of right now, they don't have that option, so let's move on here and talk about the New York Knicks. Looking at the Knicks, New York was actually on Anthony Davis's original list of 5 teams that he said he would sign a contract extension with, but that list was released in October, and as we've mentioned before, AD wants to play for a winner. That is his top priority, and obviously, the New York Knicks are currently not winners by any definition. No offense to Knicks fans, I feel for you, and again, if AD is available in the offseason, everything could change here, because it is very likely that New York will have a top 5 pick in this draft, as well as assets such as Kevin Knox. So if AD is available, there is a chance that the Knicks could trade for Anthony Davis and then turn around and sign a giant free agent like Kevin Durant. That is a world we could one day be living in. Knicks fans, don't get too excited, but I mean, eventually things have to work out for New York, right? It has been a long time since they've made the finals. Regardless of that though, we are now at the point in the video where we can talk about the realistic teams that could trade for AD this season. And in my opinion, as well as a bunch of other people's opinions, those teams ranked in order of likelihood are the Dallas Mavericks, Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors, Denver Nuggets, and of course, the Los Angeles Lakers. And I could spend a few minutes here talking about why each of these 5 teams could trade for AD, but let's be honest here. If the Los Angeles Lakers want Anthony Davis and the Pelicans are willing to trade him right now, I think in all likelihood it is going to be the Lakers that end up with him. The reason for that, of course, is with Boston out of the way, the Lakers have the best potential trade package by far. Now, according to Lakers beat writer Brad Turner, he's heard from sources that if the Lakers do want Anthony Davis this season, New Orleans has made it clear that any deal has to start with Lonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Ivica Zubac, and the Lakers' #1 pick. Again, that is where the deal has to start, and just based on salaries alone, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope would probably also have to be a part of that deal. Also, because the Boston Celtics are looming this summer with a potential massive trade offer of their own, it is very likely that New Orleans would need a ridiculous offer to actually accept a trade for AD right now, which means Los Angeles might also have to give up Josh Hart. They also might have to give up Brandon Ingram. But in my opinion, if I am the Lakers right now, I'm willing to trade anyone that is not named LeBron James. I mean, sure, Lonzo, Kuzma, Ingram, they are promising young players, but this is Anthony Davis. As we already know, he has already been a first-team All-NBA member 3 times in his first 6 seasons. If you're looking for a transcendent player that can win you a championship, that man is Anthony Davis. I mean, this year he's averaging 29.3 points, 13.3 rebounds, 4.4 assists, 1.7 steals, and 2.6 blocks. Those numbers are insane. If you don't fully grasp just how absurd those numbers are, throughout the course of NBA history, there have only been 2 players who have ever averaged more than 28 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks in a season. Those 2 men were Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1975 and, weirdly, Bob McAdoo 1 season later in 1976. Here we are, 43 seasons later, and right now, Anthony Davis is on pace to become the 3rd member on that list. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that once AD is playing for a championship contender, he is going to win the MVP at some point in his career. The man is that good. If you have the chance to get him, you don't mess around and take a risk and offer the Pelicans less than you could. You go all in. You take LeBron, you take Anthony Davis, and then from there, things are going to work themselves out. They are the Lakers. Even when they're bad, they are already a top free agent destination, and now they'd have 2 once-in-a-generation talents on their roster at the same time. And on top of all of that, it's not like AD is some 31-year-old that you're completely selling your future for. He's only 25 years old right now. He still has years and years left of his prime. He is, as we've talked about, determined to win. And this is my opinion, but I feel like it's a fact. Wherever he eventually ends up, that team is going to be transformed into an instant top contender. The Lakers right now are not that contender. And when we consider this from LeBron's perspective, when we consider that the man is 34 years old, has been to 8 straight NBA championships, is extremely competitive, and has admitted that throughout his career he has been chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan and now is actually close to catching that ghost, we know that LeBron does not want to waste any years of his prime. He might have thought that this season would be fine, that playing for a rebuilding Lakers team wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but again, he's been to 8 straight championships. He is not used to losing. This Lakers team is the worst team he has been on in a very long time. You could just see from his body language that he's over this. He knows that eventually, I'm not sure when because the man is an alien, but eventually his prime is going to run out. And because he's 34, it's very likely that his prime will run out sometime in the next 4 to 6 years. If he's still the best player in the NBA at the age of 40, well then, yeah, he's the greatest of all time. But we know that's unlikely. He knows that's unlikely. He also knows that the chance to get Anthony Davis is very real and the Lakers need to take it. And sure, LeBron is not the general manager of the Lakers, but do you really think that when LeBron made the decision to sign with LA this summer that him, Magic, and general manager Rob Pelinka did not have some kind of conversation where Pelinka and Magic told LeBron that if the time did come, they would be willing to give up their young assets to get a star? I've read nothing stating this has happened, but I'm still 100% positive that it did happen. This is LeBron James. He's not signing with a young team to mentor the young players. He went to LA to build his brand and to continue to build his legacy. He knows what a championship as a Laker means. He knows that Anthony Davis will help him get one, and he knows that even if the Lakers do trade away all of their assets, there are still several potential free agents that are going to hit the market this summer that could fill out a big three. I'm of course talking about guys like Kawhi, like DeMarcus Cousins, like Kevin Durant. If the Lakers do make the move and do trade for AD, I would bet all of the money in my bank account that another star will join those two during free agency this summer. And if that happens, well then, man, I've got to say the NBA is going to get a lot more fun. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I just want to say, I hope Anthony Davis ends up on the Knicks or the Bucks. Honestly, I just think that would be really, really interesting. I mean, the Knicks haven't been good in like 500 years, and I went to school in New York. A lot of my friends are Knicks fans. I feel bad. As for the Bucks, Giannis and AD, that would be incredible. That would be 2 players that both broke the NBA. Amazing. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this, and if you're already subscribed, thank you guys so much for supporting. You're awesome, we all know it, and as always, have an awesome day, and cue that music. And if the music's playing, if you're still here, that hopefully means I've done something right. So here are 2 other videos I think you want to watch. They're on your screen right now. All you have to do is click them to watch, and again, have an awesome day, and peace.